Hello, everybody, and welcome to our channel. My name is Salvi, and today we've brought in here Dhruvi, who got an admit in a top MIM program in Europe. Now, Dhruvi here has a background in marketing, and getting the entrepreneurial spirit was her biggest driver to pursue the MIM. In this discussion, we will talk about Dhruvi's application experience, how the MIM will help her achieve this goal, and things that Indian applicants should keep in mind while applying to the European master's programs. So, Dhruvi, thank you so much for joining in. I'm excited to talk to you and talk about your MIM journey. Just let us know a bit about yourself, and then we'll dive into the main questions.
Hi Selvi and hi everyone. I am Dhruvi Popat and I am from Kolkata, India. I recently graduated from Jadavpur University with a BBA degree. That is, I specialized in marketing, and I have a little bit of experience here and there with sales, marketing, client relations, a little bit of finance there as well. I'm hoping to build a career in consulting, and in a long term vision, I'm definitely planning to have my own entrepreneurial venture as a sustainable fashion brand. I was inclined into sustainability from during my internship, which really led me to have that perspective, and which is why I even want to apply for an MIM. Yes.
Awesome. So when did you start this journey? I guess it was last year. You must have graduated at which month?
June.
June. Okay. So in June, when you graduated, did you know about the MIM program, or you started doing your research and then you came about it? How was it like?
Yes. Getting a master's, particularly abroad, was in my mind. I feel like ever since I was a little kid. I researched about this program, particularly when in one of my career fairs in my school, we had one career fair, and one lady, she had done an MIM degree from London Business School. So I was really intrigued about getting the MIM degree and not the traditional MBA ever since I was in the 11th grade. I researched more about this program. I researched top colleges, and getting to closer to it was a dream, definitely. And when I graduated in June, I paced my decision to move faster, and I applied in the first round itself.
Oh, wow. Okay, so that means you were well aware of this program. What are like the requirements? So you knew
Yes.
exactly when to target the schools. Okay, that's awesome. So
Right.
what was the first thing that you started with? I guess it must have been the GMAT, but were there any other options for you?
Yes, I would agree. GMAT was the first thing that popped into my mind, considering top schools and how they prioritize, and the GMAT score, how it sets them apart. I did not consider GRE because I felt GMAT was a grip towards what I already knew since I did an undergraduation in BBA. So I had a sort of quantitative idea in my mind, and I was fresh onto solving those kind of questions. So I started preparing for my GMAT in the month of April, the 2024. So I prepared for around 2-3 months. I gave my first attempt in the month of July. I got a 645, which was a sort of disappointing as to I was confident enough. I feel the environment really defines what kind of mindset you put towards the test rather than the preparation itself. So I retook the exam with a better mindset, with definitely a more confident version of myself, and I did manage to get a 685 on the second attempt, which was a decent score enough, at least for me to present myself onto the top colleges.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, congratulations on the score. Like, it's definitely a great achievement, like straight out of college. Oh, that's awesome. I mean, going a little back, I did bring the GMAT because that's usually the biggest thing you have to tackle, because once you're done with that, then you have the other stuff in the application you have to worry about. But when it came to research and the schools that you had to choose, did you already have it in mind since you were in 11th grade, which schools you want to target? Or it came about in your research and you realized, no, these are the ones that I should aim for?
Okay, so yes, I did have my research well done. I mean, I recently found a old diary when I was in my 12th grade, where I found, okay, top MIM universities in Europe, and it was ranked this. What are the ROI, and what are subjects there? What do I need to get there, and all of that. So I saw definitely Europe was in my mind all along. More than that, UK was a preferable country for me for getting an MIM. Um, I feel the top colleges and the top universities that were in my mind ever since I even thought of getting an MIM were LBS, LSE, UCL, Imperial. So these four colleges were circling around my mind as to the kind of colleges I want to apply, particularly in London, because London as a city, definitely we know how thrilling is to live there, as well as getting a degree there is just a cherry on cake.
True, 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 true. No, I completely agree. UK and Europe, other than like the US, I feel like dominate when it comes to the MIM programs. Like they have the best programs there, so I completely understand. But other than these four, were there other programs that sort of were intriguing, but maybe you decided that it might not be the best course for you because of language or any other reason?
Yes, when I was researching about the course that I want to pursue, I definitely did venture out into the MSc in strategic marketing or something very niche and specific that would probably make my interests would help me get to what I'm interested in most. I love marketing. I'm a marketing girl since I can even remember. So I felt like doing MSc in strategic marketing for a good while. I felt like this is probably what I want to do. However, that back of my mind that I want to get an entrepreneurial background, I want to understand what goes on with the finance situation, how to tackle organizational behavior, and all of that. Particular electives and subjects really wanted me to get a holistic understanding of what I want to do in the future, which is why I sort of chucked out these specific niche MScs and even traditional Indian MBAs for that matter, which is why I decided to do a global MIM, which gives me a unique perspective over the whole thing.
Oh, that's awesome. But this is a question I think every person asks. Someone who goes for the MIM program. Have you ever thought of though maybe trying to get that work experience in the marketing field and then apply for an MBA program, or like what were your specific reasons to go for the MIM?
Okay. Yes, definitely. That thought did bring to my mind as to why don't I wait for a couple of years or even 3, 4 years to probably get a traditional MBA and the whole thing of a MBA degree rather than an MSc degree. That did pop in my mind, and yes, I. But right now, looking back at the kind of motivation I have to move towards a career and to move towards a faster career rather than getting a just a bachelor's degree and I get a job and then I move towards up the career ladder. I felt getting a master's would give me a head start, would give me a kickstart towards firstly my consulting career that I mentioned I want to pursue, and having that edge that I want to probably in the next 5 years already launch my brand, already have things in motion, and not wait for when I'm 30 in my 30s. So that is my perspective over why probably I chose in getting things right now rather than waiting for a bit and then moving on.
And I would assume that straight out of the MIM, you would want to work in Europe, correct? So this is like a
Yes, yes.
fast driving thing to immediately have an opportunity there rather than work here and then maybe get an
Right.
opportunity later. We'll just understand
Definitely.
that is definitely a good reason to opt for the MIM. But yeah, okay. So
Yeah.
September onwards, what were the next steps for you?
Right. I felt like the day I gave GMAT, 2 days later, I had my first deadline of Imperial. So I did not practically have much time to ponder upon my application process, which is why already I had set things in motion before I had my LORs set. I talked to both my referees as to who I exactly want and what I probably exactly want from the LOR. I had my essays sorted, what I wanted to portray of myself and how I want to portray my journey. And I had clarity of my short term and long term goals, which is particularly more enriching as to I never had the time earlier to sit and think, okay, this is what I want out of my life, rather than having so many options. I had plethora of job opportunities as to, okay, I can do this, I can do that, but what do I exactly want, what I'm good at, and what I should do that will help me get to where I actually want to be. So this process really helped me also get a grasp over my essays, and yes, having that IELTS exam also, I had to give that. So preparing for that also was on my checklist of, okay, I had made a checklist for every single college that I was applying to. Okay, I have to do this, I have to fill out these things, these deadlines. So yes, just immediately after my GMAT, I applied to Imperial College. They had a set of essay questions. They had the GMAT requirement, which I got the result in a couple of days. So that was perfectly worked out for me as to I could submit my GMAT score with my application. And I had also my LORs ready with me, which the referee had to upload. Yes.
Perfect. So you technically applied before during the round one deadline, right? This is
Yes,
round
I
one,
did round one.
which is it's really smart because I feel like a lot of students who apply for the MIM, by the time they figure out and do their research, it's already the round two, and a lot of people already got
Mm-hmm.
in the round. So you did a really smart job. Like you were very smart in that sense where you applied in
Right.
round. Of course,
Yeah,
I
this
think.
in this particular instance, even GMAT Club helped me, where we I found a lot of threads where they mentioned how in the round one we the students get an advantage over as to the number of applicants and the number of seats that are open. So that really gives a unset advantage even for Indian students. We know that these round one and round two are the most essential rounds that can help us get easier access. Yes.
Correct, correct. So, I mean, that means you said you had very short amount of time. What was it, like a week or 2 weeks where you had to like literally
A
get your
week.
essay?
Yes.
Oh my God! So you got your essay ready in 1 week?
Yes.
How? What?
Yes. So yes, I mentioned about the essays. I basically had the clarity during my GMAT preparation itself. I was alongside. I was researching what these colleges want and what kind of questions do they have in the essays. And I, since the application portal of Imperial was open in August itself, I did. See the questions and I made my account there as to what I need to answer, and it took a little bit of time every day itself to understand and frame my answers. Since Imperial only had three essay questions, that was a grateful thing that I did not have to write questions and pages and so much. So yes, there were just three questions which I had to just put my mind, and I had my story in motion. I knew what I did. I worked 3 years of my college life, and I whatever I did, I just had to put those into place and form it in a way that made me sound like a person who was appealing enough for these admissions team. So yes,
Correct,
it
correct.
was definitely a Herculean task where I had to sit every day and just stare at the laptop and be like, okay, so that's why we start writing and forming answers. That was definitely stressful, but I'm glad it happened. And I applied one day before deadline. At night, I was just struggling with the cards as to what card I should pay, but it was a really, really stressful task. But I'm sure, thank
Gosh.
God it happened.
Yeah, no, touch wood. You made it happen, especially on time. And
Yeah.
at the same time you were writing your essays, you were also, I guess, writing your resume, or you had that ready
Yes.
beforehand? Okay, so you were doing both of those things simultaneously.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Resume itself. I was since my college had just gotten over. I did not have a transcript in hand, and I had to really. I was waiting for an official score since I gave my exams in July. I did not even get my final result till probably end of August. So I had to really wait and understand. Okay, where what CGPA, what GPA do I have gotten in the last semester. So resume, I was also forming bit by bit towards my entire journey. However, at the last final week was the where I rushed and did everything at once, and I felt like forming a one pager resume is a difficult task than I ever hoped. That was definitely
oh, it's like you had so much to write and you were like, how do I fit it in? Oh, I
definitely.
completely understand. And about the transcript thing, I have noticed, like, especially with Indian applicants, and if you are coming from a government college, like, oh my
Right.
God, like getting those things like ready on time is
Yeah,
impossible. And
yeah.
you just pray to God that these colleges in the UK and Europe understand your situation,
Yeah.
which they
I had to
do.
scan each of my mark sheet and upload, and I sent a mail to them. Please accept. I mean, for the time being, at least.
And and I mean they do. They are, because they have so many Indian applicants, so they completely understand like the situation here, which is
Right.
really nice. But it becomes super stressful in your head, like, oh, like what do I do? Okay, now talking about your application, you, get help by a consultant, or you managed to do all of this on your own?
Definitely, this would have been an impossible task if I did it on my own. I did have a consultancy supporting me throughout my journey as to getting guidance on what kind of essay should I write, what should I put on my resume, what is more important enough, and what should I check it off, because I had a lot of stuff on my resume that I initially wanted to put. However, getting that expert guidance as to what is appealing and what appealing enough for the admissions team, as to where I can highlight my strengths and what additional things that I can mention that will make me a likable candidate in that way. I did have a consultancy supporting with me, and definitely, if anybody wants to reach out and know more about this, feel free. I'm always there.
Awesome. I mean, yeah, if you guys, you can comment down below and Dhruvi might reply to that. Or if Dhruvi, if you want, people can reach out to you on LinkedIn, for further questions. I'm sure it's a great way to just connect with you and know more about the MIM program. Correct. Okay, so
Right.
you were done with your essays, you were done with your resume, but this was specifically for Imperial, and Imperial's deadline was in September. Right after you clicked
Right.
the submit button, what was your next steps? Because I'm sure for a different school, there were different essays. How much time did you have for
Right.
that? Let me know.
Hmm. So the day after I submitted my application, I again was researching on what kind of interview process and what are the shortlisting, what is the deadline. I mean, what is the timeline as to how these colleges revert back. I was all in Reddit. I was all in GMAT Club as to what is the stuff going on, and it was a it was mentioned that around after 2 weeks after my deadline is when probably they'll reach out to me if I have been shortlisted or what are the next steps towards this process. And around, I felt 21 days later after I submitted my application, I got a interview request, a video recorded interview request while I was out celebrating festivals, and just in between that I got a mail, okay, I've been shortlisted. So that was definitely a thrilling moment. And in between that, I was researching more about the kind of interviews and what kind of questions there might be with me in this interview. And I was preparing myself. I'm definitely not used to talking to just a camera. I mean, we love doing that for videos and fun, but talking maturely, talking in such a short duration, because these recorded interviews do not last very long, as in you get a question and you get a very specific amount of time that you can get to answer that question. And since these are impromptu questions, you don't know what you're going to get before, it's really difficult to place your mind and prepare yourself as to what I'm going to answer to that. So I practiced talking to myself, talking with friends, and helping. They helped me to frame my answers, to know what kind of physical appearance I should inhibit. And yes, that was majorly my preparation process just after submitting my interview. I mean, sorry, application.
Application. And were you also writing your application for another business school at the time, or you focused on
Mhm.
that first and then continued with other schools later?
I did apply to London Business School as well. That was a month later, my after my Imperial deadline. So along with that, I was also in the whole process of the same thing with what I went with Imperial. But right now, I was more prepared. I was ready with my LORs and my resume. So I just had to focus more on the LBS essays. And we've heard LBS essays are huge, long, and really tiring. But thankfully, this time supposedly we did not have that many essays. We had just 4 questions that we had to submit according to similarly our journeys, our expectations from the college, how we will contribute towards the university, and how our my personal values resonate with the college's values and mission. So that was again a different experience as to what I resonate with Imperial. If my connection with Imperial was regarding innovation sustainability, a similar line I was with London Business School, but I had different expectations there and different kind of connect I had with London Business School. So I had to change my thought process a bit here as to what I want to how will I contribute and how will I connect with this college. So yes, even I applied to London Business School, which the process after the submitting my application was again around a month. I had to wait around a month to get an interview. There also I got shortlisted for an interview, which was an option. I got an option for physical interview or an online interview. I chose for a physical interview because why not? Thrilling. I know it is very unusual to do that, but I am glad I did it, honestly, because in online interviews we don't get a chance to particularly express ourselves better as we could have in the yes.
Okay, so the fact that you opted for a physical interview baffles me, because no one really does that. They go for the
Yeah.
online interview. Um, when did you get this invite, though? This was during which month? October
This was in
or no?
November. No, this was in November. Probably first week of November. I got for an interview that could be conducted in the next 20 days. So I had 15 days in mind to prepare for the physical interview. Thankfully, it was someone who was really sweet. He was really genuine as to understanding over uh, my compatibility and understanding of my intentions towards applying for this MIM program. And it was honestly a great interview as to what I'd expected. I'd spoken to a couple of alumni and couple of students, current students, as to how are these interviews conducted, and even if it's an online interview or physical interview, how much of a difference would it make? And some of them scared me. Some of them mentioned that you might be grilled for 3-4 hours, and you might even not expecting that. This kind of interview format could even be this drilling, but I felt like I lucked out on that part. I felt very calm and composed throughout the interview. I was given a lot of opportunities to think and frame my answers, and my interviewer, who was an alumni of the 2021 batch, he also definitely made me feel like I'm doing good, and not make me feel nervous throughout. I had a long interview. I had a 3 hour interview and did not feel like a 3 hour interview. We spoke a lot, and it was honestly more of a conversation, more of getting to know on both perspectives rather than an actual interview as to he's getting to know what I want to do. And it was really fun. I had enjoyed.
I'm really glad it went well. And this happened in within your city, or you had to travel
Yeah.
somewhere?
No, no, no.
Okay.
Again, I lucked out on that part. It was not even, it was 1 kilometer radius of my home. So I really grateful for that. It was in my city. And yes, that was the good part.
Okay, no, of course. All right. So that means you got two interview invites. Were there any more invites that you received along the way, or this was it?
No, I felt after I applied to both of these colleges, the colleges that were left in my mind personally as to okay, these dream colleges were definitely LSE and UCL. However, both these colleges had a rolling deadline, which is why I thought, okay, if I did get luck out on these both colleges that I applied earlier, that is Imperial and LBS, I might not apply towards getting these both colleges. So that's what I did. I did not apply to LSE and UCL. Because I already had gotten both these interviews, and I hoped one of them at least I could convert. So, which is why I just focused on both of these colleges.
I see. So usually I mean, that's like a very, I guess, risky-ish thing,
Definitely, yeah,
because a lot of consultants also advise for you to at least opt for like two safety schools just in case you don't get an
right.
admission. Otherwise, you miss out on a year, and then it's the whole process all over.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that you believed in yourself so much so that you will definitely get an invite shows that okay, you were prepared and you knew what you were doing.
Yes.
And okay, that means you then applied to these two schools. When was like the big D day when you finally got uh
I remember the date. I refreshed so many times in the Imperial page as to when are the results being would be announced. It was November 26th, and a lot of people, we had already connected us to the applicants in GMAT club as well. We got connected over LinkedIn, we got connected over Reddit, and we were just talking and talking as to, has anybody received updates, has anybody received rejections. So that we were all on extreme ends. I was every day, I used to wake up and check my mail and be like, okay, is this the day I'm going to get doomed? But thankfully it did not happen for me. I received a mail on November 22nd with an acceptance, as in the Imperial portal. The status changes if I'm going to get accepted or rejected. So the status changed to a positive, more positive, on the positive side, on November 22nd itself. And probably an hour later, I received an email mentioning that I've been accepted, and I'll have to, accept or reject within the next for 15 days. So that was definitely a exciting moment for me. I was not prepared for it. I was expecting to get results on the 26th, but getting an early result was definitely a good, at least a good sign that I have been accepted. So yes, that is majorly what was my feelings during that time.
Understood. And since you had 15 days to respond, what was your like initial reaction? Were you like, okay, maybe I should wait for LBS, or let me just go for this one? What did you do?
I had a lot of thoughts. I had a lot of conversations, a lot of just making pros and cons list about, okay, if I did choose this college, what would I get out of it, and what if I probably don't choose this college, what would I lose upon. So I did decide to wait. I did probably wait for 13 days. I just accepted 2 days before the deadline. I accepted to be in the Imperial. I still had time for the LBS result to come out. I think LBS result came out 7th December, I think. Yes. So it did. However, I took a leap of faith, and I had nothing to lose. I could have accepted, not accepted, and so I did decide to accept in the last 2 3 days. I was like, okay, fine, this is a great college. It's Imperial College London currently is ranked second in the world. That's a huge thing, definitely an achievement. So I did decide to accept for this college. However, having that one hope that probably if I get into LBS as well, I will have two options in hand. At least I can choose one of them.
Correct. But did you get the LBS admit or no?
I'm waitlisted for LBS right now. So that's also, I'm currently in a dilemma as to, I have to pay for my deposit at Imperial. However, the waitlist result comes out on probably February 12th. Yeah. So, but however, I am confident about my decision. I am still choosing to be at Imperial College Business School because this is a great school, great alumni, the kind of network that is there. Even speaking to a lot of admits and people who have gotten in this college, they definitely don't regret it one bit. And I'm really confident about my personal choice towards this college because of its probably the ranking really attracts me. Of course it would. It would definitely gets a little bit advantage over in that sense. However, Imperial as a brand, Imperial as a community, it really attracts me. The kind of electives that I get to choose here, the kind of clubs that exists here, the students, the quality of students. Even speaking to the admits, it felt like we're all from different vibrant backgrounds. I'll get to learn so much. So I feel like I don't have any regrets onto choosing Imperial, and definitely I'm excited to be here.
No, of course. Well, you are lucky that, not lucky, I think you really worked your butt off to get in. So, congratulations on the admit. You have made an incredible choice. Imperial's really good with their marketing program as well. So, for
Yeah.
what you're wanting to go for, you have a great alumni, great network. But yeah, so once you selected, did you also by any chance get scholarship in these schools? Did you opt for any scholarship, or it was like full tuition that you had to pay?
Um, yes. Once we receive an admit from the mail admit, we also receive a subsequent mail posted that we have scholarships that we could have we can apply. It's based on merit, it's based on motivation, it's based on our future plans. There are a lot of scholarships, probably 20-30 scholarships that could be we could avail. And for that we had to submit a video interview, a video recorded video for each of the scholarship. I did apply to the Women in Leadership Scholarship, and the for academic excellence scholarship. I did apply to a lot of scholarship. Unfortunately, did not get any of the scholarship, which is a little bit prick. But I felt like I still have my options open. As to, I'm also exploring a lot of external scholarships that are offered in India. We do have a lot of organizations and the trust definitely of offering a lot of scholarships. So I'm also exploring that right now. However, what I'm looking at currently is full tuition.
Full tuition. So how
Hmm.
are you, have you thought about like the financing of the
Hmm.
studies? And I mean, it's not just tuition, right? Like UK in general is expensive when it comes to rent and
Hmm. Hmm.
lifestyle. And I'm sure
Right.
going to London, you just want to splurge during the Christmas
Yeah.
time and during shopping hours. So what was your thought process for that? Did you plan everything out, or you're still thinking through a few things?
Right. Considering my financing, I right now considering the scholarships that I've applied to. I'm right now going to also avail for education loan, part education loan, and part definitely my family is going to sponsor me for that. I'm not looking for a full education loan because I don't want to personally have that burden on me when I go and have that thing on my mind as to I have to fulfill and repay that loan the minute after I graduate, and that pressure on my mind. Taking a half loan would take off that burden and that load on my mind, and it would also give me a chance to explore, to get to what I want to do as a career, not to just have that pressure with me all throughout when I am in UK. So yes, that is what I have currently thought of: a half family would sponsor and half education loan.
Understood. And now that we've covered the finances just a bit, what about the post MIM goals? So I'm sure you would plan to work in UK, maybe in Europe, if that is your
Right.
choice. But you said that you wanted to get into the sustainable fashion. Sorry if
Right, right, right.
yeah, yeah. So what are your what are your plans? This MIM program is, I think, for 1 year, is it?
Right.
1 year. Okay. So what are the visa opportunity visas that you can get? I'm not too sure about all of this, but I would love to know.
So yes, as you rightly mentioned, we have the 1 year MIM program. Additionally, I'll be on a student visa on that 1 year program. But UK, a great country, offers a 3 year visa where 1 year would be for my course. During the course, it will be a student visa. Post that, I could avail for a graduate visa where I could work for a couple of years. That's my plan right now. As to, I will go 1 year, I will have my course, and the other 2 years I will definitely work. In my, I mentioned consulting, marketing, all of that sectors I'm really intrigued upon. Post that, I do have a long dream plan of having my own sustainable fashion brand. Sustainability is sort of important and close to me. I felt, yes, I've worked in an e-waste recycling company, and knowing what goes behind that, the whole recycling part, the circular economy concept, and what brands are up to these days, I felt there is a gap as to affordable, sustainable luxury brands that definitely, especially in Indian markets, is sort of upcoming and new. We have so many sustainable brands coming up. However, a homely name, a name that can be trusted, a name that is affordable to all, probably strata society, is something I aim to get, which is why I feel getting that background of an MIM, that is a theoretical knowledge, and from even consulting that could help me solve actual business problems. I could get knowledge of all stratas and all kind of domains that could help me get an entrepreneurial mindset inculcated in me when I come back. that's my plan. I'll plan to stay all 3 years of my visa and then come back and do my thing.
No, which is amazing. The fact that you want to like come back and do something for the greater good here in your home is incredible. And I commend you for that. A lot of people technically would want to stay longer, abroad and maybe settle down. Like that is usually 50%, I feel like, what happens with
Right.
students abroad. But very commendable for what your thought process and what you want to do when you get back home. I mean, that's amazing. So is there, for Indian applicants in general, are there any other things that you feel like they should know if when they're applying for an MIM program in the UK?
Right. I feel like things that I probably should have known when I was in the process of applying was uh, how important it is to be involved in the college life and how important it is to leverage uh, a journey of college and how networking also works. Ever since I was in my first year of my college, I explored onto academic, getting that academic good marks. I did manage to get an overall CGPA of 9.81 throughout, getting a consistent 9.81. And along with that, I did several internships. I was active in my college. I was active in the student council. I was also in most clubs of my college. So I felt that also gave me a greater understanding of towards what I am right now, and that helped me build my story, build my perspective onto things. I know what I want to do because of that. So I feel Indian students particularly, sometimes they really take college undergraduation little bit, I don't know, not very seriously. So
For granted.
Ex- yeah, for granted. So I feel this is equally important if you want to go abroad, as to getting a good GPA, good extracurricular activities in hand, good internships, good exposure onto even international exposure is super important. I worked in an organization called ISEC, it's well known, and I felt that really opened my perspective on international relations. I built a lot of international relations in terms of corporates, in terms of students, and I got to know a lot of things which made me actually intrigued towards getting that global culture. And I don't think I'll have a culture shock right now as to understanding different ethnicities and all of that. So I feel it's really important to, if a person who wants to pursue a career abroad, to get that global perspective as soon as they can, and as getting that exposure onto their undergraduation level as well.
Correct. No, you made a really good point, especially with college students taking college for granted. And not even like all 3 years. I feel like especially the first year of college is when you're
Yes.
like, oh, let me go have fun. I don't care about my exams. And then when the GPA, oh my God, I could have studied, and gotten a higher
Right.
score. But yeah,
Yeah, I
no,
love
but
the fact about colleges abroad that they focus on the entire profile rather than just scores. Probably that's what Indian MBAs differ with definitely colleges abroad, is that academics is more important to them. I lucked out upon that, as well as I focused on everything. I built my profile holistically. I had this in my mind from the very first day of my college that, okay, if I want to get to a level, I have to work in a way that I have to build a profile which is not a speck missing. As to, probably I did everything I could. I did volunteering. I did took internships. I made sure my grades were up. So I feel making holistic profile is very very essential if anybody wants to definitely consider even a career abroad.
yeah, and since you also come from a large demographic, like you also are coming from very competitive pool. You're
Exactly.
not the only person
Yeah.
getting a 645 or a 685, so you kind of have to
Hmm.
give more than what is just
Right.
grades. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, but
Indians even are super overrepresented everywhere, as we know. So
exactly.
standing, being the unique one is sort of difficult at times. However, just believing in yourself and moving on is that I feel that's the best way to move here.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, I mean, this was wonderful, Dhruvi. Again, congratulations on your admit.
Thank you.
I wish you the best of luck in your MIM journey. And, we would love to have you come and chat with us, once your MIM program is done and how the journey was like.
Right.
Maybe that conversation will be much more different than this one. I feel I am in Imperial is gonna be very, how should I say? It's gonna make you work your butt off.
Definitely.
Yeah. But thank you so much once again. It was lovely talking with you. And guys, whoever's
Like,
watching, make sure to like, subscribe, and also comment if you have any questions for Dhruvi. All right. Thanks a ton and have a nice day. Bye.
bye bye.